It's a major scientific breakthrough that's raising some big ethical issues. Researchers in Israel have used stem cells to create living, growing models of a human embryo in a lab without the use of sperm, eggs, or even a womb. Scientists say the model, which resembles a 14-day-old embryo, can't grow into an actual human, but they want to use it to study early fetal health issues like miscarriage and birth defects. Here to tell us about the implications of all this, Fox medical contributor Dr. Nicole Saphier. Thanks for joining us, Nicole. So this is a really interesting story, and it's on the backs of other stories, which I want to bring up in this whole artificial world. What do you make of this? Do you think they're actually trying to make another human? Is this even a human? What do we make? It's a not human sperm. How do they make an embryo out of this without a human sperm and egg?
Well, it's different from an embryo in the sense that it's an embryonic model, because at 14 days, which is what they have created, it already has to have been implanted into a uterus. And obviously, this embryo has not been implanted into a uterus, and therefore it cannot continue to grow. So it's important to distinguish between embryo and embryonic model. But obviously, this raises a lot of medical and legal and ethical concerns when you're talking about stem cell research. As it stands right now, the NIH and others all across the world have limited research to 14 days on embryos. You cannot do research, you cannot grow embryos in a lab after 14 days. That's their magic number. But does the same translate to these embryonic models? Will they continue to grow these to see how far they can go? I mean, what is really the purpose of this? As you mentioned, they say it's because they want to understand early fetal life when most of the miscarriages happen. But I think it's a very slippery slope. Listen, stem cell research, you can either do it from embryos, as we know there's a lot of concerns with that, but you can also get stem cells from adult cells. And we're seeing a lot of that in regenerative medicine, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and stroke. When it comes to embryonic stem cells, that's where things get a little concerning, and I just don't know how far the pendulum is going to swing, what they're really planning on doing as we continue to have conversations about biological males wanting to try and have babies. I mean, is that the future?
Right. Well, you said you can't implant this embryo or this embryonic model into a womb. However, they're also creating artificial wombs. We know that they call them bio bags. There's another one that's a pod. They've had some success with lambs turning into fetuses, or becoming fetuses and growing in these bio bags. I mean, they're obviously moving in this direction. I mean, just because you can do it doesn't mean we should do it.
Absolutely, and science is evolving very fast. The ethics and legal concerns and restrictions when it comes to science is not moving as quickly as it needs to. We know that we're already doing uterus transplantation. We've been doing it for women for years now, but now they're talking about putting uteruses in biological males. How far will they go? We need to make sure the ethics and legals keep up with it.
Yeah. Wow. Can't erase women, that's for sure, and mothers. More Fox.
They're trying.
Next.